Well, hello there. This is Virtual the Chess Noob, learning and having fun with chess. Merch at chessnoob64.com. Now, sometimes I get some complicated games, and sometimes I get a nice, smooth game of the Vienna, just like a Viennese coffee. So I can imagine this is a sort of game that was played in the Vienna coffee houses in the early 1900s. Smooth, nice, easy, pretty simple. Well, let's go take a look. So I had the white pieces in this game, and of course I had the Vienna game. So e4, e5, knight c3, the opponent plays the fork beer, and I play Vienna Gambit, f4. Now in this game, they declined a gambit with d6. Reasonably good move. Their best move is to enter the main line, but this is the best way of declining the Vienna Gambit. Of course, declining the Vienna Gambit anyway is not great. Now, the way to play this is to play knight to f3, and the idea is we want to try to play d4 if possible. Now, my opponent here decides to develop the other knight to go to a sort of four knights type approach. It doesn't really work in this particular setup. Here, potentially I can play the bishop, pinning the knight, but I decide to just play the d4. Captures, 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 and queen captures, and we now enter a very nice position out of the Vienna. So I've got the full center developed. Not so easy for black to do something about my queen. They try to do something. They strike out with c5, but that significantly weakens their potential light squares. They sort of potentially damage their queen side. And this is not really that good a move. Now, I thought a while, do I try to do something like this to attack down the light squares? But eventually I decided, nope, I'm just going to leave that alone. And I'm going to pull my queen back to d3, which is a perfectly good move, the best move, I think, in this position. They develop bishop, I develop the bishop, castles, castles. However, I potentially have, look at this sort of line of pawns. Basically, my pieces are moving to attack the king. And the Vienna game, Vienna Gambit, even when it's declined, often has quite a simple strategic approach in the middle game, which is to attack the king, to attack the king's position on the king side. Tactically, we want to move our pieces onto the king side, maybe target the h7 pawn, potentially attack down the h-file, and we're all set up. So look at this sort of this rift, this diagonal. We're moving towards the king side, while all their pieces are potentially on the wrong side of the board. So they continue to play sort of, play down the queen side. There's nothing here. My kings is on this side. They can do all they want on that side. It's waste of a move. So first, Stockfish reckons I should move here first. They think that was potentially a mistake back to 0-0-0. But in reality, it's not really a mistake because it requires black to play down a single very accurate line. Now just take note, it's technically 0-0-0 here, and that's partly because if black plays perfectly accurately, I'm just not fast enough, which is why it's 0-0-0. But this move, I thought it was a good move because basically it blocks access for that light square bishop. Again, we're sort of closing off this fence, looking towards the opponent's king. They continue to expand on the queen side. Doesn't matter. Queen to g3. Staring here. Bishop here. I've got another bishop here. It's super, super good. They, continue to spend sort of effort moving down, moving down the queen side. And here, I'm happy to sacrifice that knight. That knight, it's a little bit far away from the king. And if I'm going to win tempo by them playing on this side, who exactly are they attacking here? There's nothing there. So bishop to h6, immediately checkmate threat. They can take all they want, but that would be mate. So that knight is basically safe for a turn. They thought for quite a while, and then they finally made a blunder. It almost looks like they don't have another move, but their best move here is the backwards knight move, knight to d8, defending the g7 square. They didn't see it. It is hard to see, but by pushing this pawn to prevent mate And just to note, that is literally their second best move. They are now plus 4.3, worse than plus 4, which is why I said I thought that move was actually fine. Humans do not play like the computer. And now I've got a really strong position. So I could potentially just take here, but what I eventually saw was pawn captures pawn. The Stockfish called this a brilliant move because potentially I'm sacrificing the knight here. But basically, it's not that hard to see. Like if they did take the knight, basically that would be double check, and they could potentially capture here or move the king here. Either way, oh no, so they can't capture there. They have to move the king there, sorry. Either way, that would be mate. So basically, the knight, once again, remains immortal. They have to do something about that pawn. They make the right move. And now, bishop c4 with check. King moves out of the way. And now my knight jumps out of the, oops, actually before that, capture of the bishop. Of course, that rook, they take. And now, that was a mistake. Should have taken the bishop because they have pinned their knight. Now, knight jumps forward, attacking the pinned piece. They move the queen out of the way. That's fine. Knight captures knight. They capture this way. And now their king is really in some trouble. Really, really airy here. Queen captures pawn. And here, black makes the second blunder. A blunder that pretty much ends the game. They saw that looked like it's a hanging piece. There's a battery there. Looks really strong. And after they take, looks like there's a chained attack on that rook. So it looks like they might even win some tempo. Looks like a good move. It's a blunder. Look at that. Mate in 2. Can you see the mate in 2? That's right. One of the things I didn't see was this fully open F-file. And it's never too late to hang back rank mate. Rook to F8, check. And here my opponent opted to resign, because if they didn't resign, that is their forced move, only legal move, and then that would be mate. Good game, GG. The big takeaway from this game is that the simple strategic approach of simply launching a big attack against the opponent's king after they've castled kingside often works really well in the Vienna Gambit. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.